Hello, I'm Dorothy Singer and I'm part of the Cambridge Yarn Collective, along with Sophie Neville, Hilary Butler and Claire Collier.
We're a group with a passion for creating colourful, freely accessible public art using crochet and other yarn crafts.
We've been working together since 2018 and probably best known for our creations on G's screen.
The Suns started in 2016 as a solo project, with all of us joining together in 2018 after a collaboration with The Junction in Cambridge. The sunshines have now become an integral part of the winter in Cambridge, and they bring light and brightness to people at what can be a difficult time of year for some people.
We were delighted to be approached by the Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology to produce a piece for the exhibition Colour, Art, Science and Power.
The piece is over 400 hand-crocheted circular forms that have been sewn together onto calico. Each motif is unique. Some look like flowers or shells, others are fractals and geometric shapes.
The design was inspired by the colour wheel. The opening section of the exhibition is all about the experience of colour as well as its scientific perception, and we wanted to reflect that through the work.
When we first met and the members of the Cambridge Yarn Collective came into the museum, I was amazed by their enthusiasm, by their just sort of literally colourful presence, and their commitment not only to their artwork, but to the well-being of the people who were able to enjoy this free work that they put up.
Anita and later Tom showed us some of the items that they were hoping to get into the exhibition, and we decided to look at those and draw some inspiration from the colours and the particular items that they were planning to put in.
So originally we came up with figurative items that would represent certain colours, so strong associations, maybe yellow, sunshine, red, host boxes. And we showed this as a representation as how we thought it might lay out on paper. And Anita looked at this and immediately went, "Oh, I like the dots." And then we thought about how to represent the colours, and that evolved into our own version of a colour wheel.
Yeah, and that led us to the final layout of the piece, which features the black explosion in the centre. So it's mimicking kind of an explosion of colour, which also represents the colour wheel, because we had conversations with Anita about the different types of colour wheels, the different ways it had been interpreted, and how that could inspire our version of a colour wheel. We looked at the Seurat painting that's in the exhibition, and we're thinking about pointillism and how that effect is created by all the colours being blended together to create a sort of optical illusion, and that sort of led us to think about how our work would be perceived. All the small sections of colour would come together, so it does look different when you're standing further away, and then as you get closer you get to see each individual shape and the different designs in each one.
And I like that at a distance it looks like a colour wheel, but as you get closer all those colours overlap and you can't find a defined border like you would normally have in a colour wheel. We wanted it to be very dynamic, to actually show motion rather than just to be a fixed two-dimensional thing, and the explosions were the way of looking at that. I think it was important for me to have all those range of colours, because as a scientist you don't see black and you don't see white in the same way, and you certainly wouldn't see pink defined within a science area like Newton's prisms doesn't display pink. But for an artist, you think of colours of tonal and what contradicts each other. But for me, it was important that we had black, which is everything, and white, that is everything, at the same time. Yeah. It was the importance of having everything as we see it as humans, rather than as artists would see it or scientists would see it.
Yeah.
One of the ways that we work as a group is that we like to create something where we can each individually work on little pieces that we can then pull together collectively to create the final work. It's quite difficult if you've got multiple people sort of working on the same individual item at the same time, but by having these little blobs of colours we can each bring our own styles and ideas and just inspiration, and then collectively we come together.
I just found it very mindful working together. You saw my photograph of these three working either side of the canvas. And when you're sitting there working with your partner opposite, I mean, working in pairs like that, you can become connected. And it's almost meditative, and you just sit there, and if you're on the back, you're just looking for where that needle's going to come through. When you're on the front, you're thinking about your partner on the other side and whether they need to take it, so you be mindful how you do it. And so it's really it's almost meditative doing it. It's really enjoyable to do, to work like that in a collaborative way between us all. And as you change partners, the way of working would change slightly, because the person you were opposite would have a slightly different way of putting the needle through. They'd finish off the piece slightly differently, so you had to be aware of it. So it was lovely.
We like our work to inspire people and draw people in and engage people, and by having that explosive feeling, it kind of invites people to come and look further and to explore further. The whole thing with our work, it actually invites people to want to come and engage with it. When we do our public pieces, you regularly see people stroking it, touching it, feeling it, engaging with it, because it is a tactile material. Crocheted yarn is something that is inviting you to touch it.
I think that's one of the reasons we were so excited when we were approached by MAA as well, is because we got the chance to put crochet front and centre in this amazing exhibition. And it's a heritage craft, and it doesn't always get represented in big public art institutions. And so we were really excited to be able to bring our craft into a space where it's so publicly available and loads of people will be able to come and enjoy it.
One of the things I liked about it when we were planning this and working it out is that by taking sort of the timeline of the history of how colour was used by humans through history, we've made something that is using the very natural materials that we would always use, but applying modern dyes to it. We're using a heritage skill in crochet, which people have always used. We're actually creating a brand new piece, and it's that juxtaposition of all that together which really brings the whole exhibition together in one piece for me.
Going on from what Claire was saying about it being a craft, a heritage craft, being done for centuries by probably mainly women, I like the fact that it's being raised up now and is perceived as art. And it's that bringing it, why shouldn't it be? But there is a perception that craft is something lower than art, high art, and here we've put something that is underestimated. It's a skill, and it's generally thought of as, oh, that's something that women do at home, and it's not art. It's just a craft in brackets, and I use that term very loosely. And here it is. It's a work of art, and we've presented it as a work of art to be appreciated by people as a work of art.
You can see the Kaleidoscope artwork on display at the Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology at the exhibition Colour, Art, Science and Power till the end of April 2023. Please come down and enjoy.